My name is Ethan Cole, and I'm standing in a bank vault at First Federal in Columbus, holding a brass key that's about to destroy everything I thought I knew about my life. 1 week ago, I was in Chicago, hours away from opening the Ember Room, my dream restaurant. Now I'm here because my fiancé just stole it, sold it for $10 million, and sent me a text that said, "You were useful. Enjoy the debt." The safety deposit box clicks open. Inside are photographs I've never seen, my mother sitting across from men in FBI jackets, my mother's signature on documents marked, "Confidential Witness," my mother's face younger than I remember, scared in a way I never knew she could be. There's a note on top, written in her handwriting, "Ethan, if you're reading this, someone came for you. I'm so sorry. I tried to protect you from this, but Veronica Hale's family doesn't forgive. The key is 512. The truth is inside. Fight back." My hands are shaking. I don't understand any of this yet, but I pull out a thick manila folder. The first page has a photo of a woman, sharp eyes, dark hair, expensive suit. The caption reads, "Veronica Hale, Operation Clean Plate, arrested 2009. Underneath it, there's a second photo. It's Lydia. My Lydia. Smiling at a family dinner next to Veronica Hale. The note says, "Lydia Hart is Veronica's granddaughter. Real name, Lydia Hale. She will come for you when you're most vulnerable. She's done this before." I sit down on the cold bank floor because my legs won't hold me anymore. The folder is heavy in my hands, and I flip through page after page of things that don't make sense until suddenly they all do. My mother was an accountant. That much I knew. What I didn't know was that she worked for a network of high-end restaurants that laundered money for organized crime across the Midwest. The operation was called Clean Plate, dozens of restaurants, all legitimate on the surface, all washing dirty money through fake reservations, inflated supplier invoices, and cash businesses that looked clean to everyone except someone who knew how to read the books. My mother knew how to read the books. There's a timeline in the folder. In 2008, my mother went to the FBI. She gave them everything, spreadsheets, bank transfers, recordings she'd made in secret. She wore a wire to meetings. She testified in front of a grand jury. And in 2009, Veronica Hale went to prison for 20 years along with 14 other people in her network. My mother became a ghost after that. We moved to a small town in Indiana. She changed her name legally, used cash for everything, and never let me have social media. I thought she was just paranoid and old-fashioned. I thought she was overprotective. She was keeping me alive. There's a USB drive in the folder, labeled Insurance. I pull out my laptop right there on the bank floor and plug it in. The files load slowly, hundreds of documents, audio recordings, video files. I click on one labeled Lydia Hale, Background. It's an FBI report from 6 months ago. My chest tightens as I read. Lydia Hale, age 29, granddaughter of Veronica Hale. Graduated from Cornell with a degree in hospitality management. No criminal record. Works as a restaurant consultant. Has been romantically involved with 3 men in the past 5 years, all of them chefs, all of them sons of people connected to her grandmother's case. The first man, Daniel Reeves, lost his restaurant to bankruptcy and drove his car off a bridge in 2021. The second man, Marcus Chen, disappeared in 2022 after his restaurant burned down under suspicious circumstances. The third man, Aaron Kovac, is in a psychiatric facility in Pennsylvania after attempting suicide twice. I scroll down and see my own name, Ethan Cole, son of Rachel Cole, née Foster, primary witness in Operation Clean Plate. Current target. Relationship began January 2024. Engagement announced September 2024. Restaurant partnership formalized October 2024. There's a video file at the bottom. I don't want to watch it, but I click anyway. It's Aaron Kovac. He's sitting in what looks like a hospital room, talking to a camera. His voice is flat, exhausted. If you're watching this, she already got to you. Her name isn't whatever she told you. She's Lydia Hale. She'll make you fall in love with her. She'll help you build something. And then she'll take it all and disappear. She told me once, when I begged her to explain why, she said, "Your father took my grandmother's life. I'm taking yours. If she's gone, you're next." The son of the woman who destroyed her family. The video ends. I sit there staring at the screen until the battery warning pops up. My phone buzzes, another text from Lydia. "Stop looking for answers, Ethan. You won't like what you find." She knows I'm here. She knows I opened the box. I grab everything, the folder, the USB drive, the photographs, and shove it all into my backpack. The bank manager knocks on the vault door. "Mr. Cole? Are you all right in there?" I'm not all right. I haven't been all right since the moment I met her. But now I know the truth, and I'm not going to end up like Daniel or Marcus or Aaron. I walk out of the bank into the cold October air and call the FBI field office in Columbus. The woman who answers sounds bored until I say, "My name is Ethan Cole. My mother was Rachel Cole. She was a witness in Operation Clean Plate, and I need to talk to someone about Lydia Hale right now." There's a pause. Then she says, "Hold the line." 2 hours later, I'm sitting in a conference room at the FBI field office with Agent Sarah Brennan and Agent Marcus Liu. They're both in their 40s, both look like they've seen too much, and both are staring at me like I'm a puzzle they can't figure out. Agent Brennan spreads out the documents I brought on the table. "Rachel Cole was one of the bravest witnesses we ever worked with," she says quietly. "She knew what would happen if Hale's family ever found her. That's why we helped her disappear." "She didn't disappear well enough," I say. My voice sounds hollow even to me. "They found me instead." Agent Liu picks up one of the photographs, the one of Lydia at the family dinner with Veronica Hale. "We've been tracking Lydia Hale for 2 years. We suspected she was targeting people connected to her grandmother's case, but we could never prove intent. She's careful. She uses different names, different stories. By the time we connect the dots, the victims are already destroyed and she's gone." "So you knew," I say. The anger rises in my chest like heat. "You knew she was doing this and you didn't warn anyone?" Agent Brennan leans forward. "We didn't know about you specifically until 3 months ago. Your mother changed your name when you were young. You grew up as Ethan Cole, not Ethan Foster. We had no way to connect you to Rachel until our system flagged a business partnership between you and someone using the alias Lydia Hart. 3 months ago, I repeat. You knew 3 months ago and you didn't tell me?" "We were building a case," Agent Liu says. "If we'd approached you, Lydia would have disappeared again. We needed her to make a move, something we could use in court." "She made a move," I say bitterly. "She stole my restaurant and sold it for $10 million. Is that enough for your case?" Agent Brennan exchanges a glance with Liu. "It's complicated. The ownership transfer was technically legal. She had you sign documents that gave her power of attorney over business decisions. The sale went through legitimate channels. On paper, you gave her permission. I remember signing those papers. Lydia brought them to me one night after a long shift, said they were standard partnership documents, that her lawyer had reviewed everything. I trusted her. I signed without reading. So she wins," I say. "She destroys my life and walks away rich, and you can't do anything about it." "We didn't say that," Agent Liu says. He pulls out a laptop and opens a file. "Your mother was smart. She knew Lydia, or someone like her, might come eventually. Look at this." He turns the screen toward me. It's a bank statement from an account I've never seen before. The account holder is listed as Ethan Foster Cole, Protected Asset Trust. The balance makes my eyes water. Your mother set this up in 2009, Agent Brennan explains. It's a trust account coded to protect any property or business registered under your legal name. If someone tries to transfer ownership of something tied to you, the trust automatically flags it and freezes the transaction until you personally verify it in person at the bank. The Ember Room is registered under your legal name, Agent Lou continues. Which means when Lydia tried to finalize the sale yesterday, the trust kicked in. The buyer's money is frozen. The ownership transfer is frozen. And Lydia doesn't know yet because the freeze takes 72 hours to process through the system. I stare at the screen. My mother did this 16 years ago. She knew they'd come for you eventually, Agent Brennan says softly. She just didn't know when or how. This was her insurance policy. My hands are shaking again, but this time it's not from fear. So what happens now? Agent Lou closes the laptop. Now we move fast. Lydia is still in Chicago. She thinks the sale went through. We're going to raid the Ember Room tomorrow during dinner service with a warrant for fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy. We're going to arrest her in front of everyone. And when we do, we need you there. Why? Agent Brennan looks me straight in the eye. Because she needs to see your face when she realizes she lost. She needs to know that Rachel Cole won this fight from beyond the grave. And she needs to know that you're not another Aaron Kovac. You're going to survive this. I take a deep breath. When do we leave? First thing tomorrow morning, Agent Lou says. Get some rest tonight. Tomorrow, we end this. I don't sleep that night. I'm back at my dad's house in Ohio, sitting at the kitchen table with him while he makes coffee at 2 in the morning. He's read everything in the folder now, every document, every photo, every piece of evidence my mother left behind. She never told me, he says quietly. Not the full truth. She said she had to leave her old job for safety reasons, that we needed to move and change our names. I trusted her. I never asked questions. She was protecting us, I say. Both of us. He sits down across from me, and for the first time in my life, my father looks old. Your mother carried this alone for 16 years. She knew they might come for you someday, and she lived every day waiting for it. That's why she was always so careful. That's why she made you promise never to go into the restaurant business. I remember that conversation. I was 17, telling her I wanted to go to culinary school. She cried and begged me to choose something else, accounting, law, anything but restaurants. I thought she was being ridiculous. I thought she didn't believe in me. She was trying to keep me invisible. I broke my promise to her, I say. I became a chef anyway. I opened a restaurant. I put myself exactly where they could find me. My dad reaches across the table and grabs my hand. You followed your dream. She would have been proud of that, even if it scared her. And she made sure you'd be protected when they came. That's what mothers do. I think about Lydia, about how she found me, how she studied me, how she knew exactly what to say to make me fall in love with her. She knew my mother's story. She knew I'd lost her when I was young. She used that grief like a weapon. I loved her, I say. The words hurt coming out. I really loved her. I know, my dad says. That's what makes this evil. She didn't just steal your restaurant. She stole something you can never get back. We sit there in silence until the sun comes up. At 7, Agent Brennan calls. We're picking you up in 30 minutes. The raid is set for 6 tonight during dinner service. Lydia opened the restaurant under her own management last night. She's acting like she owns the place. Because she thinks she does, I say. Not for long, Agent Brennan says. Be ready. The drive to Chicago takes 5 hours. I sit in the back of an unmarked FBI car while Agent Lou briefs me on what's going to happen. They have warrants for Lydia's arrest on multiple charges: fraud, identity theft, elder abuse for what she did to Aaron Kovac's family, and conspiracy to commit financial crimes. They've been tracking her bank accounts, and the moment the sale freeze hit yesterday, she started moving money to offshore accounts. That's what we needed, Agent Lou explains. The money movement proves she knew the sale was illegal. She's trying to hide assets before anyone notices. That's consciousness of guilt. Will she go to prison? I ask. If we can prove the pattern, that she's done this to multiple people as part of a revenge scheme, yes. She'll go to prison for a long time. We arrive in Chicago at 5. The FBI has set up a command center 3 blocks from the Ember Room. There are agents everywhere, reviewing floor plans, checking equipment, coordinating with local police. This isn't just about my restaurant anymore. This is about stopping someone who's destroyed lives for years. Agent Brennan hands me a vest. You'll stay behind the line during the raid, but we want you visible. When we arrest her, we want her to see you standing there, alive, whole, and winning. At 5:45, we move into position. I can see the Ember Room from where I'm standing, my restaurant, the place I poured everything into, now filled with people who think they're eating at Lydia's new establishment. The sign out front has been changed. It says, "Heart and Soul," in elegant script. She even took my name off the building. Agent Lou's radio crackles. All units in position. Target is inside. We have visual confirmation. Execute on my mark. I watch as FBI agents in tactical gear move toward the entrance. My heart is pounding so hard I can feel it in my throat. Agent Brennan stands next to me, her hand on her weapon. 3, 2, 1, mark. The doors burst open. Agents flood inside. And through the window, I see Lydia standing in the middle of my dining room wearing a chef's jacket that used to be mine, her face frozen in shock as she realizes everything is falling apart. The diners scream and scatter as FBI agents move through the restaurant. I watch through the window as Agent Lou approaches Lydia with his badge raised, shouting commands I can't hear from this distance. She doesn't move. She just stands there in my chef's jacket, her face perfectly calm, like this is all some minor inconvenience. That's what gets me, the calmness. Even now, caught in the middle of a federal raid, she's in control. Or at least she thinks she is. Agent Brennan's radio crackles. Target secured. Bringing her out. They walk her through the dining room toward the front door. Customers are being escorted out by other agents, some crying, some recording everything on their phones. The kitchen staff, my former kitchen staff, stand frozen by the expo line, watching their new boss get arrested. The door opens, and Lydia steps out onto the sidewalk in handcuffs. That's when she sees me. For the first time since I met her, her mask drops. Her eyes widen and something flashes across her face, surprise, then anger, then something that almost looks like fear. She stops walking, forcing the agents to stop with her. "Ethan," she says. Her voice is different now. Not the warm, loving voice I fell for. This one is cold, flat. "You actually figured it out." I don't say anything. I just stare at her. "Your mother was smarter than I thought," she continues. Agent Lou tries to move her forward, but she plants her feet. "I studied her for years. I knew about the trust account, but I thought I could work around it. I thought I had more time before the freeze kicked in." "You used me," I say. The words come out steadier than I feel. "You made me fall in love with you just to destroy me." "Your mother destroyed my family," Lydia says. Her voice rises. "My grandmother went to prison because of her. My father lost everything. We went from owning half the restaurants in the Midwest to having nothing. Your mother took that from us." "Your grandmother was a criminal," I say. My mother did the right thing. Lydia laughs, a sharp, bitter sound. The right thing? Do you know what happens to the families of people who go to prison? Do you know what it's like to grow up with everyone knowing your grandmother is a criminal? To have FBI agents show up at your school? To watch your father drink himself to death because he lost everything? So you decided to destroy innocent people? Agent Brennan steps forward. Daniel Reeves, Marcus Chin, Aaron Kovac, they didn't do anything to you. Their parents did, Lydia snaps. Their parents testified against my grandmother. Their parents helped the FBI. Someone had to pay for that. And what about me? I ask. What did I do? She looks at me, and for a moment, something almost human crosses her face. You were supposed to be easy. The son of the main witness, the one who gave them everything. I was supposed to take your restaurant, take your money, and watch you fall apart like the others. But you, she stops, shakes her head. You actually loved me. You believed every word I said. You were so trusting, so stupid. The words should hurt, but they don't. Because I can see it now, she's not calm anymore. She's breaking. Agent Lou's radio crackles again. Agent Brennan, we have confirmation from the bank. The sale freeze is complete. Funds are being returned to the trust account. Ownership reverts to Ethan Cole. Lydia's face goes white. What? Agent Brennan smiles, a cold, professional smile. The sale is void. The restaurant belongs to Mr. Cole. The $10 million you thought you had? Frozen. Your offshore accounts? We've already filed seizure orders. Your grandmother's revenge plan? Over. I watched the realization hit her. All of it, the years of planning, the careful manipulation, the perfect revenge, it's all collapsing in real time. She's not just losing. She's losing to a dead woman who outsmarted her 16 years before they ever met. No, Lydia says. Her voice cracks. No, that's not, the sale went through. I signed the papers. The buyer transferred the money. The buyer transferred money into a frozen account, Agent Lou says. The trust your mother set up has legal authority over any property tied to Ethan's name. You never actually owned the restaurant, Ms. Hale. You just thought you did. Lydia looks at me one last time. The mask is completely gone now. She's just a woman who spent years plotting revenge and lost everything in a single night. Your mother won, she whispers. Even dead, she won. Yeah, I say quietly. She did. They put her in the car and drive away. I stand there on the sidewalk watching the taillights disappear into Chicago traffic, and for the first time in a week, I can breathe. The next 3 weeks are a blur of lawyers, paperwork, and FBI interviews. Agent Brennan walks me through everything: the charges against Lydia, the evidence they've collected, the pattern of crime spanning 5 years and 4 victims. I'm the only one who survived intact. Daniel Reeves's mother comes to meet me at a coffee shop in Chicago. She's in her 60s, gray-haired, with eyes that look permanently tired. She sits down across from me and just stares for a long moment. You look like your mother, she says finally. I met her once, during the trial. She was so scared, but she testified anyway. She was brave. I'm sorry about your son, I say. She nods slowly. Daniel was my only child. After Lydia left him, after the restaurant failed and the debt piled up, he just gave up. He called me the night before he died and said he couldn't do it anymore. I didn't understand then what had happened to him. I thought it was just business failure. I didn't know someone had deliberately destroyed him. She's going to prison, I tell her. The FBI has enough evidence to put her away for decades. Good, Mrs. Reeves says. But it won't bring Daniel back. It won't fix what she broke. She reaches across the table and takes my hand. Your mother saved you. She's still saving you. Don't forget that. I don't forget. I think about it every day. The restaurant reopens 3 weeks after the raid. I walk through the doors with my dad, and everything is exactly how I left it: the kitchen layout, the dining room design, even the menu I'd created. Lydia hadn't changed anything except the name. She'd been running my restaurant, serving my food, pretending it was all hers. "What are you going to call it?" my dad asks. I look around at the space I built, the dream I almost lost. "True North," I say. Because Mom was my compass. She kept me pointed in the right direction even when I didn't know I was lost. He smiles. And I see tears in his eyes. She'd like that. We spend the next month getting the restaurant ready for a real opening. The FBI returns most of the money Lydia tried to steal, not all of it, because some went to legal fees and restitution for her other victims, but enough. More than enough. Agent Brennan stops by one afternoon while I'm prepping in the kitchen. She's out of her FBI suit, wearing jeans and a sweater, looking almost human. "I wanted to give you an update," she says. Lydia took a plea deal. 25 years in federal prison. No parole eligibility for 15. I set down my knife. 25 years. Her lawyer tried to argue diminished capacity, claimed she was traumatized by her grandmother's arrest and wasn't thinking clearly. The judge didn't buy it. For victims, years of planning, millions of dollars in theft, that's not trauma, that's calculation. "What about Veronica Hale?" I ask. "Is she still in prison?" Agent Brennan nods. "She has 8 years left on her sentence. When Lydia gets out, Veronica will be 90 years old. If she's still alive." "Good," I say. It's the only word that feels right. "There's something else," Agent Brennan says. She pulls out an envelope and hands it to me. "This was in your mother's safety deposit box. We held it as evidence during the investigation, but it's yours now." I open the envelope. Inside is a letter in my mother's handwriting, dated 2 months before she died. "My dearest Ethan," it reads. "If you're reading this, then the worst has happened and they found you. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I tried to protect you from this world, but I knew someday you might face what I faced. You're stronger than you know. You're braver than you think. And you're my son, which means you have something they can never take away. You have integrity. You have truth. You have love. Those things are worth more than any restaurant, any amount of money, any revenge. Fight for yourself, but don't become them. Stay true north. Stay good. I love you forever. Mom." I read it 3 times before I can breathe again. My dad reads it over my shoulder, and we stand there in my kitchen, crying together for the woman who saved my life years before I even knew I needed saving. "She knew," I say. "She knew everything that would happen." "Not everything," my dad says. "But she knew you'd survive it. She believed in you." I fold the letter carefully and put it in my pocket. Tomorrow, I'll frame it and hang it in the office. But tonight, it stays close to my heart. True North opens on a cold November evening, exactly 2 months after Lydia's arrest. The dining room is full: friends, family, food critics, and people who just heard the story and wanted to support a chef who survived. Mrs. Reeves sits at table 12 with her sister. Aaron Kovac's parents flew in from Pennsylvania. Marcus Chen's widow is here with her new partner. We're all survivors of the same war. I stand in the kitchen during service, calling orders, plating dishes, doing what I was born to do. The brass key my mother left me hangs on a chain around my neck. I touch it sometimes between courses, just to remember. My dad works the host stand, greeting guests with a warmth my mother would have loved. He's proud of me. I can see it in his eyes every time he looks through the kitchen window. At the end of the night, after the last guest leaves and the kitchen is clean, I sit in the empty dining room with a glass of wine. Agent Brennan's final report sits on the table in front of me. Lydia Hale is in federal prison. Her assets were seized. The victims' families received restitution. The case is closed. But I'm still here. Still cooking. Still building. Every Sunday, I close the restaurant and cook dinner for my dad. We eat at the chef's table, just the two of us, and we talk about my mother, about the woman she was, the sacrifices she made, the love she left behind. When people ask me about what happened, I tell them the truth. My ex-fiancée stole my restaurant and sold it for $10 million. But she went pale when the bank called about my mother's account, because love had already beaten revenge long before the FBI showed up. My mother's compass still points true north. And I'm finally home.